I am trying to make an actual TV show.
It's so hard to find a funny show that isn't filthy. I watch them, but I don't want to.
Let's do this.
Fire, like lots of fire.
So dedicated.
So cool. Where's it go from there, you know?
Oh, have I got your attention now?
This is bigger than you can handle.
Got any plans for tonight?
Well, what are you waiting for? Let's go.
Cool? Absolutely!
So thanks for coming out this morning. I'm Havey. I run brand partnerships for SeriesFest, and I'm just so thrilled to have you all here this morning for our Vanguard workshop with Michael Rucker and Canva. Yeah, let's get the energy up today. So this time last year, I got an alert on my laptop that celebrated my 500th Canva design. I was quite proud of myself, but it also got me thinking, if an organization like SeriesFest leans on a platform like Canva so much for its designs, maybe our audience would too. So I reached out to the good folks at Canva, and serendipitously, they had just launched their entertainment templates for the film and television industry. So we all got to talking, we brainstormed a bit, and came up with something that we thought our shared audience would need, which ultimately was the Vanguard program. So what we were trying to do was work to accomplish our shared goal of providing audiences with the opportunities and resources that both demystify and democratize the entertainment industry and breaking into it. So the Vanguard program we launched at the end of last year and enlisted the help of several prolific and established industry professionals, such as this one right here, to join us for virtual and in-person workshops that shared insights into their processes and paired them with live demos on Canva. We're thrilled to have you here today for one of them with Michael Rucker. He is an executive producer, a showrunner, an all-around nice guy. His credits include Project Runway. I mean, most of the time. He's pretty fun. Yeah. His credits include Project Runway, Top Chef, 101 Places to Party Before You Die, and I can't really list the others because we're really trying to keep this to a tight 30. Yeah. Also from the Canva team, and if we want to have some beautiful headshots up here.
We'll skip through that.
Oh my goodness.
No, it's fine. No, let's do it.
I've already messed it up.
No, good. Here we are.
And from the Canva team, we have Kate Marsden, who's the head of global partnerships. And kind of the star of the show today, Tasha Delin, who's our global partnerships manager, who's really adept at this and is going to be running us through a lot of things. Do we want to show a quick highlight reel, just because I feel like I didn't say enough about what Canva is, even though some of you guys know? Let's just go back to it, and we're on the fly.
We love a sizzle.
Just a little taste of what's to come today, guys. So next up, I want to introduce Michael Rucker. We just did some intros and housekeeping. After we talk to Michael for a couple of minutes, we're going to do our live demo of building a pitch deck. We're going to open it up to Q&A. And then also just to say that the Canva folks are going to be here all day in the tent outside providing juices. There's a really fun demo that you can do. You can get a free hat. Mine says no notes on it. And so please come and see them afterwards as well. So without further ado, Michael Rucker.
Good morning, everybody. That's very scary to see your face that big on a big screen. May the 4th be with you. I had to say it. Didn't know about it until I was like, oh yeah, today is the 4th. Watching SportsCenter and they had lightsabers. So
he's been waiting for this moment for like weeks.
Yes.
So Michael, you are a pretty storied guy. You've been in a room once or twice pitching, I'm guessing.
Very much
so. Could you talk a little bit about what that process has been like for you over the years? Talk about the importance of the pitch process to you specifically.
Definitely. I mean, my background is I do a lot of unscripted stuff, but I've also produced, one of my claims to fame is producing this movie that was called Random Acts of Violence for less than $50,000, and I brought it at $35,000. Felt very proud of that. And so the pitch deck has, from when I started 20 years ago, which is, again, scary to say, used to be just like a piece of paper with like one image on it. And now, especially with, especially post-COVID, and a lot of pitches are now less in person and actually digitally, like the visual deck is become probably the most important part of your sales pitch. Every single network, every single buyer is like, expects a very beautiful visual deck that explains everything, and typically they also ask for a lot more bells and whistles these days. And so like what used to be just a Word doc with the image is now the expectation is to see a fully realized flesh vision, tone, you know, what could it look like, what could it feel like, and so the pitch deck is really what gets stuff sold.
I imagine that's pretty daunting because you've just come through this process of having an idea, trying to get it realized, and then you might not have that same particular skill set.
Yeah.
So how have you navigated that in the past?
It's been a lot of trial and error. It's been a lot of just like, I just like slam stuff in the computer and hope it looks good. Like it's not, I'm not like, there's a lot up here of how I would like to project visually, but I don't have the skill set. I don't have a graphic design background. I can put some stuff together. I learned how to sort of create an alpha, sorta. Like, it's been trial and error, and honestly, that's actually what I did during COVID. It was actually, I started trying to learn how to do this deck building element because it became so important. And I'm still, I would say, a C student with it. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that it's changed, especially over COVID, with now more Zoom pitches and everything. So I understand how that's changed for the writer. How has that changed on the other side of the table in terms of the reactions you're getting and what you feel like they are looking for specifically from you?
I think that, listen, let's just be honest. People's attention span is short as shit. Like, people don't like, when you're pitching somebody, they hear a lot of pitches. They see a lot of pitches. A lot of execs and buyers are seeing this daily and daily. So the more that you can make something that is constantly kind of visually arresting or just like kind of actually getting them engaged, the better. And I think that that's the thing that when I try to create a deck, I think about the person I'm pitching to and what their day may be like. So if they're having a bad day, they don't want to read a bunch of text. So I'm like, what's going to help sell them, get them excited, but then be able to sell it up the room, because people in the room now are not necessarily the ones that are buying it. They have to pitch it up to their bosses. So the more you can keep it succinct and something like that one image or that one phrase over an image that they can go, oh, that's the hook that I can remember and pitch up to my bosses and get them excited. That's really kind of the magic sauce.
So I imagine this was a little bit of flying blind for a while until trial and error came through.
Yes.
So how else did you learn with the evolution of this pitch process? How are you finding resources on what they wanted, and where did you go?
I mean, it's honestly, to me, I ask a lot of people. I ask a lot of questions. I see what other people are doing. As a independent showrunner, I get shown a lot of decks. I get like, hey, here's the idea of what we want to do. And sometimes I'm like, how the hell did you sell this thing with this deck? Because and really trying to like, it's kind of field research, so to speak, like seeing what other people are doing, seeing what's out there, seeing what tools are out there, and literally basic, Google searches of like design and stuff like that. That's usually how I've tried to see stuff and just get kind of inspired from design websites and whatnot. But I really kind of look at what other people are doing and kind of going, oh, I like that element, I don't like that element, and that's sort of curation, again, kind of seeing what other people were doing and hearing about other people's pitches and what worked and what didn't work.
So do you want to maybe build a deck today with us?
Let's do it. I mean, you guys didn't come here to hear me talk, so let's actually build a deck.
Well,
Yes.
you're still going to hear him talk. But,
Yes,
you're
I will
gonna
still be here.
I think that's my cue.
Yes.
Perfect. That was great conversation, and I could listen to you guys talk about that all day. But I think lots of really important themes there around the changing nature of the way we're pitching. And obviously with Canva, we're all about empowering the world to design. And we know as entertainment professionals out there, you guys, there's a lot of pressure to be able to visually communicate your ideas. And so that's why Canva's here to really help make that easier. And we're working with entertainment professionals to be able to help you to be able to do that. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to show you how easy it is to use Canva and the tools within Canva to build a pitch deck. And so we have that challenge today, but obviously before we build our pitch deck, we are going to need a big TV hit. So no pressure, Michael, but we'd love you to help us.
All I
come
do
up
is
with our
create
next hit.
big TV hits, guys. That's what I do. And you're like, what have you produced again? Exactly. No, yes, but I will happily help.
Perfect. We might give him a little bit of help though. So we've actually just opened up one of our whiteboards. And so this is a logline writing exercise whiteboard that's within our entertainment templates. And we've got a little bit of inspiration to go on. I'd love to get some help in terms of genre. So are we feeling like we want to make a sci-fi, a comedy, or a romance? Anyone? Yeah? Romance? Yeah?
What about a sci-fi romance? Oh, there we go. We got it. We got a sci-fi romance.
Yeah. Okay, I think we can work with that. We'll lead with the. How about this? We'll lead with the romance, but we'll get an apocalyptic world in there, so we've got a little bit of that sci-fi.
Very Coen-esque. This is going to be great. Yeah.
Perfect. And then protagonist. What are we thinking?
Can I pull? Can I just because we're in Denver? I would love to do a ranch owner. That's just me. I have my horse scarf that I decided not to wear because I was like, polka dots, that's a little much. So,
he always has a statement
But I would
piece,
love to do, when in Rome,
Perfect.
do a ranch owner.
Great. So you can see how easy it would be to collaborate in a whiteboard here. And thank you so much for your help. So what we're working with now, Michael, we have a romance, we've got a ranch owner, and they're in an apocalyptic world. So if you could work your creative magic and come up with a synopsis, we'll give him a little bit of time to do that.
Please.
And while he does that, Kate will just show you all our dedicated entertainment landing page. So this is the page that you want to go to if you're working on a project, if you need to find any templates across pitch decks, film posters, treatment decks. So from the very beginning of your creative process through to when your project's complete and you need to start promoting it as well. So we've got a number of fully customizable templates in there. So today, obviously, we're going to be looking at creating a pitch deck. So we'll go into the pitch deck tab here. And then, Kate, pick a pitch deck that takes your fancy.
I'm feeling this one maybe, because it's not a romantic, apocalyptic design looking thing at all. So let's see what we can do to change this up.
Perfect. We love a challenge. This definitely does not feel like a romance right now, but we're going to show you how quickly and easily we can turn it into one. So Kate's just going to show you the different slides within this template. As you can see, it feels quite finished. There's lots of content in there to really help inspire you, so you never have to start from a blank page. But it's fully customizable, so you can start tweaking and changing it based on what you need. You might find there's too many slides in here, and you want to delete some slides out. Maybe you're not ready for marketing and reach. You have a think about who you're pitching for, at what point you are in your process, and you can just adapt this deck completely to what suits your needs. And also, you might find there's some slides in there that you think you might not need, but you don't want to delete them. You just want to hide them, and then you can work out later if you need them or not. So Kate's just tidying that up now. You might find, for example, they haven't got a tone slide in here, and you want a tone slide, so you can easily update and add your tone slide too. We can also delete all the imagery out of here as well. So this is just the kind of setup process for once you've opened your template. You really want to start to make it your own and make it your skeleton for being ready to go. I might check in with Ash and Michael at this point.
I had to learn how to spell apocalyptic.
And also, I do need to. Also,
that's half the battle,
my
guys.
bad. My bad as well. In order to be able to collaborate with these guys, we do need to add them as collaborators, because this deck right now is set for just Kate, because Kate's opened it up. But we can easily just share it up here, and we can add
log line, that should say. But I'm doing it on the fly. Don't.
So yes, so we've just tagged these guys in, and we've added them into the deck so that now we can fully collaborate, and hopefully Ash is able to jump in. And while Ash is doing that, Kate's just going to keep setting up our deck to make it ready based on what we need. So Ash and Michael, let us know once you've got that dropped in. You want to ask a question? Sure.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah,
Oh,
so I'm
good
deleting
question.
them now, and then we're going to insert a bunch of new ones that will go with the feel. So every template that you have in Canva will come preloaded with pictures, videos. We're stripping them out, so we're going to customize this template ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
I use Canva. I'm just curious what the most convenient way to just switch the pictures out is, like with all the dimensions the same.
We will show you.
It's coming.
It's
yes.
coming.
You're like way ahead. I'm like, I'm trying to spell
Love
apocalypse. So yeah.
You guys keep moving. I'm just waiting for my email to come in. I'm having a little Wi-Fi issue. But
I do have a question for you, because I know that you guys have, Ash was talking about the templates with for entertainment. Did you guys work with people to come up with all those?
Great question. Yes. So we worked with lots of industry professionals in order to understand exactly what you need in terms of the content within these templates. So we wanted to make sure it felt fit for use. So obviously when you open your template up, you will need to tweak it and change it based on what you need, but there's lots of guidance there in terms of what is needed in a pitch deck. So you'll see there's key characters, tone, and things like that, because we know that's what you need in a pitch deck working with entertainment professionals. And Michael, maybe while Ash is working through that, do you want to read out our synopsis that we're working with?
Yeah, good, because then you can see my spelling. All right, so this is what I called it. Oh, you do? Okay, thank you. Love on the high plains. Finding true love in your 40s is hell, especially when your world is an actual apocalyptic hellscape. Those two words were hard to spell. But as Jolene, I'd been listening to a lot of Dolly Parton podcasts, tries to protect her family's ranch from marauders and epic firestorms, destiny might have arrived in a group of nomadic academics trying to reverse the climate shifts, led by a brash professor who just happens to be single.
Oh.
Nice.
Thank you very much.
Love it. So yes, we've got our
Please don't read me.
synopsis. Ash is going to go and put that into our synopsis page on slide 3. And Kate has already updated the title, ready to go as well. And while that's being added in there, I want to talk to you all about brand kits, because that's a really good feature that we have that makes things super easy when working on a new project. So with brand kits, the way it works is you can have a separate brand kit set up for every single project you're working on. And that means you can have any fonts or colors or imagery that you might want loaded into your brand kit ready to go. So for now, we've got brand kits set up for the different genres that we were going to work with, but you would have it set up for the different projects that you're working with. And Michael, do you often work on more than one project at once?
Yeah, no, I mean, currently I think I have like 5 or 6 projects that I'm doing and working in different deck forms and all of that stuff. So yeah, Yes, lots of decks, always, yeah.
Great. Well, you can have up to 1,000 brand kits going at once, so you can have multiple projects going. And it must be quite a challenge switching out from project to project and having a different headspace on. Yeah,
it definitely is. I mean, that's where, like, my approach to decks are that, I think tone and focus to all of it should be I don't use just one template for every single pitch. It's like I really think that the more you can show a visual medium that sets, again, the tone or the look beyond the imagery, like, with background, I think that that's really important. So I typically have different style decks for different style shows.
Perfect. So brand kits would be perfect for that,
Yes.
because you can have your different brand kits set up for that. So for now, we're going to work within the brand kit for romance, and you can see that we've got all the colors set up and the fonts ready to go. And so at the click of a button, you'll be able to update this deck into the brand colors for the project you've set up.
All right. Oh.
And so Kate's just showing that right now, and you can have a little flick through and see what colors are feeling right. But looking at the brand kit, how are you feeling about the brand kit colors, Michael?
I'm definitely focused more on I think I currently have light pink socks on, but I think pink in romance is very sort of obvious, so I like I like this more red tone, but I see that's also in that color palette. You still have the pink and the green, so.
And we'll just show you quickly where the brand kits live, so you can just see. We've got actually a workshop with Sue-Ann, workshop 1, where we really dig into how to set up a brand kit. So you can go back and watch that another time. But yeah, it's as simple as jumping in here, being able to add any colors that you want from your color palette, which you can easily tweak, even if you're in your project and you've started your pitch deck and you're thinking, actually, this pink is feeling a little bit too pink. You can easily delete that and add a new color in and go from there. You can also have at the bottom, Kate just showed us the image library there. So I'm wondering, Michael, when you start a project, do you often have some existing imagery that you work with?
Yeah, I mean, I again, to me, curating your deck or curating the things, the images that you gravitate towards, I think, I heard somebody over this weekend talking about pitching and being like, yeah, this is a project that lots of people hear, but they haven't heard it from me. And so that's sort of like, that's what I try to do with images, is like, I try not to use images. I really do a deep dig and dive. And so on my computer, there are images that I will use sometimes for multiple decks because I know that's a good image and I know that's nobody has that image. And so I think that's curating images that really set the tone again, but also speak to the type of style of show I want to produce. That's important. So yes, very much so.
So that's one way we can have imagery set up, and we'll talk about the different ways with imagery. I know you had a question around that. But yes, with imagery, I'm not sure if anyone here can relate to my desktop that's covered in many different photos that I've saved and screenshotted along the way. But with Canva, you can have in your brand kit a bunch of imagery. So some of that key imagery that you talked about, Michael, saved within your brand kit, ready to go whenever you're working on a project as well. So that's brand kits.
I'll
sorry,
just apply
Kate.
this to all pages first so you all can see how quickly that changes.
Exactly.
So the click of the button,
Magic.
that's now all starting to look a lot different to what it did before. And should I do the same with font?
Yes, so because we've got our font set up in our brand kit as well, Kate can do the same principle with font by clicking through onto the font and also applying to all. And we've got a font here set up called Lovelace. There's thousands and thousands of fonts.
That was going to be my question about, because font, because I think that's an underappreciated element to a deck is font. I'm a font snob. And so, like, I usually have to go and seek it out and, like, download them and hope that they actually will fit with whatever deck I'm using. So how many fonts do you guys actually have?
We have thousands of fonts within Canva. We've got a partnership with Monotype, and so that allows us to have lots of fonts free to use. But if there is a specific font, if you are a snob font like Michael and you might have a specific font that you want to use, not to worry either. You can also upload that font really easily into Canva, into your brand kit, and use that as you go as well.
And that function to cut and paste the font across the deck, I mean, that saves like minutes, 45 minutes to an hour at minimum, to have to go into every page, every text box. That's a huge time saver.
Definitely. And it also just makes sure the whole thing feels consistent as well, because obviously that's key.
Yep.
Great. So that's starting to feel like our romantic, apocalyptic, we've got our skeleton of our deck really starting to form shape. Michael, what do you think the next step is?
As much as I really love just seeing, and I was like, what are those little things? I'm like, oh, they're sheep on rolling hills. And I was like, oh, that just makes me feel
sheep
like
wouldn't have made it, I don't think.
Maybe they would not have. Maybe they're robot sheep. We will get into that. But imagery is obviously the next thing to me that, like, I always start with text and writing out everything and then go to imagery, because that to me is the, I like to call it dessert. Because if I start with images, then I never get to the writing part, and then I never get to explaining what the hell my project is. I'm just like, oh, look at this cool image. So I do all of the writing first, and then I go, now I get to reward myself and go through the images.
Well, you mentioned that you had a bunch on your desktop. Or where did you find them, or how do you
because the one thing I do know with Canva is that you guys have a partnership with Getty. I mean, Getty actually has... I mean, I don't know if there's educators here, so cover your ears. I do a lot of stealing and screenshotting because Getty actually has amazing images, and that's actually where I'll find really high quality images and do a lot of screenshotting, and that's typically, and there are certain websites, but it's a lot of screenshots and whatnot, but that's That is a time-consuming process. It's the most
Yeah.
time-consuming process for me.
I bet. And we have got an amazing content library, and we'll showcase the content library for you shortly. But before we do that, I thought I would just show you all these frames, because you're probably wondering, do we just have this same image going throughout the deck? And that's not the case. This is actually a frame. So this is a really helpful tool for creating different frames within your deck. You can have circles, triangles, lots of different shapes and sizes. And there's also some that have got some fun textures here as well. So Kate's just grabbed a frame here that feels like it fits within our tone for our film. It's got that kind of rugged feel to it. And we just pop those in there, resize them. And then when it comes to imagery, we'll showcase, before we get to the content library, just what it looks like if you grab an image from your brand kit. So Kate will just pick an image. Michael, is there an image that's feeling like front page worthy?
I mean, I like, it's the bottom, that bottom one. I like to have one big image on the front page of everything, and even though it's not always, cinema's dead, I like to do widescreen. So no, cinema is not dead, guys. It's all still alive. But no, I like to go back to like widescreen, like something. I mean, this is really nice to do all of this on here because I think that panoramic views on the first title page is the way to go.
Perfect. So. And as you can see, Kate's just managed to pop that into the frame, and it's gone into shape just at the click of a button. And I think this image is working really well, but I think we can agree that it's an apocalyptic vibe of an image, but it is meant to be a romance. It's not meant to be that bleak and dark. So it's very easy to use filters within Canva and photo editing just to kind of warm some of these images up. So Kate will show you how we can do that.
When you do a filter, does that automatically go across all of your, or can it? Or like, is it like a cut and paste? Because that's...
Yeah, we talked about this, didn't we? Because in terms of imagery, when you are sourcing lots of imagery from lots of different places, it can make that deck feel really inconsistent if you've got some warm images here, some kind of more dark images here. So it's really easy to be able to take any images that you have and just apply a filter so that it's got the same saturation and the same filter on there as well. Filter and filter, a bit confusing. But if we just grab the filter, the format painter from the top here on page 1, at a click of a button, you can just add that to that second image, and Kate will show you how quickly that pops into place without having to mess around with levels or anything like that. And that's something you can do across all your imagery within the deck as well.
Very cool.
Great. I think now it's probably the best time to show you our extensive content library. And Michael obviously touched on the fact that we have a partnership with Getty, also Pixabay, which means we've got thousands of pieces of content across video, graphics, audio, and so on. Michael, should we pop something in the search term so we can...
For characters. So we're doing characters right now?
Yeah, we can have a look at some characters.
Or, I mean, I think that... Yeah, let's do characters. I know that we have the scientist / researcher.
Yeah.
Not researcher, a professor. All right, but he could be a researcher too. I don't know. Like, I'm definitely I wanted to stay away from. Okay, great. No lab coats. That's that. I just didn't want like an obvious lab coat. So yeah, we're not going to do the knockoff Albert Einstein. I like that guy, the African American guy, but he's at school. Okay. Can we make him not at school? Is that a possibility?
Yes, that's a good point here. So we've obviously got our image here that we feel is working well. We love that character. He feels like the right vibe for our show. However, he's in a school. We're in an apocalyptic world in a ranch. So
I mean, maybe there's still schools in a post-apocalypse, but who knows?
But what we can do here is, I'm not sure if any of you have used background remover before. It's part of our Magic Studio. Great, I can see some nodding. At the click of a button, we can literally just remove the backgrounds here. So that image is now fit for purpose, and he's no longer in a school. He's wherever we want him to be.
That, to me, that feature makes me angry because that was too easy. And whenever I do it, I spend too much time trying to remove a background. So seeing something like that fast and actually that clean, like that's the issue I have is that I can't.
Yeah.
It's always jagged, and it looks very obvious that I tried to get a background removed. So
Well, hopefully it doesn't make anyone else too angry.
No, I mean, it's good. It's a good feature. Sorry. I'm like, yeah. Kevin's like, and then he slammed our remover. No, that's
too easy.
It's too easy. But that's a great thing.
And the good news is that also works across video as well. If you find the perfect video and you need the background removed. So
Really?
pretty crazy stuff.
Oh, I did not know that.
So that's great. So we're also going to show some more of the content library, because maybe, do you ever put, as well as imagery, do you ever put video in your decks, or what do you think about video?
No, I think video, yes. And actually, I think that that's something in the pitch, in the room. A lot of people want to see video or sizzle and stuff along those lines. And sometimes, typically, I have to send it as an additional link because video is, I mean, just the size of a file and stuff like that. But I've seen obviously in demonstrations and in your, kind of the commercials showing that video can be embedded.
Yep.
And that is something that I think if you can include video to, again, paint the picture of whatever your idea is, that is always going to, again, for an exec or somebody, they can start seeing that you have a vision for this thing, and the more elements that you can add to that, I personally think the better. So yes
Amazing.
To video.
Great, and you can see how easy it is to add video using the content library. Kate's just adding some video content in there for us as well. And that format painter of the filter works across video as well to help with that consistency.
Cool.
Great. So that's starting to come together for us. I think sometimes, so we've obviously shown the content library, we've shown our brand kit when we've got imagery saved that we've researched outside of Canva. Sometimes, Michael, do you ever find, if you're working on niche projects, that there might be a specific image that you're after that it just doesn't quite exist?
Yeah, I mean, the shows that I produce are a lot of, and I think I've talked to some people that I've had an opportunity to talk to this week, is a lot of genres that I'm seeing in the pitch process are kind of hybrids, mashups, and that's usually, my ideas are always like, oh, I know what that is, and then slightly skewed, and so trying to find images, I mean, I guess I pitched it, so I can say it. I had a challenge show where people were doing dog things, and it sounds weird. Don't judge me, but trying to find image of people doing dog things was very difficult. So like I would try to do AI stuff, or I try to slam it and do bad Photoshop and stuff like that. So I think AI imagery would be great for something like that.
Yeah, perfect. And I've seen some amazing projects at the festival so far with very niche things, and sometimes that image doesn't exist. So we do have Magic Media, and like Michael said, it's using AI within our Magic Studio, and you can search exactly what you're after, and AI will generate something that brings that to life for you. So
an apocalyptic ranch.
Let's get Kate to spell apocalyptic.
Yes.
So we'll look up apocalyptic ranch. Maybe let's throw romance in there, because that's not normally something you would see searched, and see what we come up with within AI. And it does take a little bit of moments to work its magic, but it will load up and it will share with you a bunch of options. And again, you can pick whether you want that to be across photography, video, or graphics. So Kate's searching that in there, and I've seen people, if they're working on a project that has a high school, for example, you might need to search a high school logo, and it can search that and create that for you in Canva using AI too. So the possibilities are endless with Magic Morph.
And I see that images, I've done images before, but yes, there we go. Into the sunset that maybe is burning off all their skin. But yes, I like it.
Maybe there are a couple heads on the horse. I don't know.
Yes, exactly.
Poster art.
Multiple-headed
I'm
horse.
seeing poster art right here.
But I see you have graphics and video. Can you actually do AI I mean,
yep,
you can do both of those?
Across the different media as well.
Okay, I've never done any of that. I've only done images, so that's very cool.
So yeah, so that will really be helpful for any specific projects you might be working on that are a little bit niche, and yeah, that's great. Cool. So this is really starting to take shape now. You can see we've got lots of content in there. We've got our colors, we've got our fonts. Is there anything else, Michael, that you think we could be doing to enhance this pitch deck?
I mean, again, painting the picture to me tonally, like especially for a scripted project, having audio and music if possible. And I know that seems like something you guys can do. That to me is is sort of a cherry on top thing, and I don't see it very often, but I do think that audio, if you can find the right tone and everything like that, again, can paint the picture and help just sell your vision more. So if you can do that, and I think that would be amazing.
Wonderful. Yes, I think audio is a great shout. And I was chatting to someone today whose project was all about music, and there was no music in there, and it definitely really feels like it helps with that more engagement and things. So Kate's just showing you how we can search within our content library, thousands of tracks within there to be able to pick. You can just drop it in. You can have more than one track going as well. And you can also just edit. You can decide when and where you want the music to come in and when and where you want the music to change. We also recently signed a partnership with Warner. And so that allows us to have a bunch of commercial music in there as well. So we've got thousands of tracks from Michael Bublé, Smashing Pumpkins, or even if you need to, Dua Lipa. Maybe that's the vibe for your project as well.
Dua Lipa survives the apocalypse for sure.
Exactly.
How many audio clips are you able to do under? Is there?
I don't think there's a limit on there. I think you can put multiple tracks in there, but yeah, just obviously again being mindful
Very
to
cool.
have them working together and not being too distracting.
Yeah.
Great. So I think audio was a good one, and another one that we've been seeing a lot of as well is animation. Do you ever use animation?
I do. I do, and I will say that when I've used Canva before with animation, this is the one that I can geek out about a little too hard, because you have so many options. And the one thing that I will say that with that I've had to learn, not necessarily the hard way, but like I guess doing it and looking at it and people being like, whoa, like let's chill out on the animations. I think it's like trying to keep it consistent. I think that would be my one thing, that like picking one or two, because there are so many options, and keeping only like a couple. So it's I started off every single page doing different animations, and I think that's maybe too distracting in a pitch. And so, but still having movement in a pitch, to me, keeps people interested and engaged when I'm in the room. Being able to go like, oh, it's not just going to slides, like not having a hard cut. It's like you have a transition. So I think transitions are great.
It feels more polished too.
Oh, yeah, I mean, definitely. And that used to be a very expensive process. If you had a deck, somebody creating a deck, like if you had to do any animation, that was way more expensive, a part of the, kind of the deal that you come up with. So
yeah, great. So yeah, you can see how simple it is for Kate to be adding animation into this deck to really help, like you said, Ash, to have that feel more polished and that visual storytelling throughout the deck as well. Great. So yeah, I think we're really coming together here. I think we want to just show the collaboration side of things as well. Obviously, we're working on this project collaboratively. So maybe, Kate, you can just tag Ash in here and see if she's feeling good about the project. And it's just as simple as adding a comment in here, posting that comment, and then Ash will get notified. If she's in the deck, she'll see it, or she'll get notified via email as well. So that just shows how seamless collaboration is within Canva as well.
The other thing that I will say that, and I'm just, because I'm staring at it, is the share. But I mean, the one thing that I know that you guys are really good at is like sharing the deck when you're done. Especially that's when you asked about video. Like usually video scares me because I can't share that deck because it's just so big in the email, and I always get that prompt saying it's too large. It has to go to Google Drive, and I'm like, okay, great. Like I know that you guys have a quick solution, or you have, I don't know how you guys do it, but just basically I know that you can actually send these, kind of the decks in a much more easy and headache-free process.
Definitely. That's a good segue into sharing, because
I maybe jumped ahead to sharing,
you're
but
all good. We're ready
I've
to
seen the share button.
Sharing is
Ash
caring.
commented back she's happy, so the team's happy. We're ready to start sharing it on. So you just click through to share, and there's a number of different ways. Of course, you can download the file if you want to, but like Michael said, you might have lots of imagery in there, and it might be a big file. And also, you might just want to share a live link because you want to be able to keep updating it and tweaking it. Have you ever had a typo after you've sent and then had to say, actually, ignore this one? look at this
Apocalyptic. I know how to spell it right now. Spelling bee. I'll do it right now. No, yes, I have a lot of. That's a word of advice. Really, maybe proofread. I'll just say that.
You don't need that oh no moment anymore.
No,
You can just pop back in and
We've
edit.
all been there. So yeah, so with sharing the live link, not only does it help with the file size, but it helps with the fact that you can keep amending it and tweaking it if you need to as well. And on top of that, I know I blew your mind a little bit with this one, Michael. It was the unique sharing links as well.
Yes.
So obviously you're sending your work, your passion, your project out to many different people, and you want to see whether they are actually reading it. You want to see whether they're looking at it, and you can actually get a unique link that gets sent out to the different people that you're sending it to, and then you've got a bunch of insights that you can look at. Well, it just shows whether it's been opened. It actually shows how long someone has looked at it for, so you can just really see whether your projects are being looked at. And it also helps you to know what's the right time for me to start chasing them. Have they looked at it yet?
And that's, I mean, I think that I don't need to explain. Like when you showed me this, that did blow my mind, because I will send out a deck and have no idea if anybody watched it or read it. And then they go, oh, we passed. And I go, did anybody read the deck? Did anybody look at it? So now you can call people out. I mean, I'm saying, maybe you don't use the feature that way, but at least now you can at least tell when somebody actually clicks and watches it, which is, to me, amazing, because that is something that it's always sad when you've worked so hard, you send something out and you don't know if anybody's actually read it or looked at it. So that feature was really cool.
Perfect. Cool.
So up here, this little insights here, unique links.
Yeah, perfect.
You're sharing the presentation mode, right? Not the editable. No, so if I go copy link, open a new tab, that's what that person will see.
It's view
not
only.
editable. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Don't make that mistake.
Yeah, so I think we've started to really have our presentation, our pitch deck take shape. Maybe we'll just jump back and show you the original deck, the original pitch, and flick through that, and then we can show you this so you can just see how quickly we've managed to transform this. And obviously, there's still a bit of polishing to be done. We just wanted to show you the demo for now. But yeah, you can see how different it is in that bringing to life love on the high planes. So
No longer an abyss of deceptions. So.
exactly. Perfect. We've got a tiny little bit more time, so I
Yes.
might just show you one more bonus feature, which is Magic Resize. I think it's important to share this one with you, because I know that once you've got your pitch deck complete and it's ready to go, hopefully you get your content made and it's amazing, and you want to get it shared out. You want to be promoting it on socials. You want to be putting it in a poster and so on. Many people, I'm sure, have been taking their work and then creating all of those specific assets one by one. And I know that takes a lot of time and a lot of designing. But with Magic Resize, you don't have to do that. You can take your pitch deck, you can take your front cover, and you can easily Magic Resize that to any different type of document that you want it to be, whether it's a social media post, whether it is a film poster, or maybe it's a website. At the click of a button, you can just click through to say whether you want it to be a social or a poster, and it's just magically resized, created a new version for you. And you do need to do a little bit of tidying up and whatnot, but the best thing about this is the spec is all set up, ready to go, and all of your assets are all there ready to go. So it's going to feel completely consistent, and it's going to feel seamless as you're working through all of those many promotional assets as
Especially when you're on the festival circuit and you have a lot of other things to think about, this is one less thing.
Exactly. So hopefully we've shown you the ease of how you can create a pitch deck in Canva and how Canva can supercharge your creative processes. Good luck with all of your projects. Happy to hear any questions. And like Ash said, we're going to be here as well at the end all day as well. So thank you. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. So who's we'll do a couple questions in-house though. So who's going to be the first bold? Oh, you've had your hand up a couple times, sir, right in the middle on the...
Can you, like if you have your own frame, like this jacket frame picture, if you have something, can you create something and upload it yourself and set it as a template that is something personal? You know what I mean? That still acts as the same way.
Do you mean like the specific frame, having a custom frame?
Right.
Yes, I believe you can create custom frames. Yeah, there's so many in there, so many shapes and sizes to look through, but you can also create your own custom ones if there's a specific spec that you're after.
Yes, in the front here.
Michael, is there a difference between what you would include in a pitch deck that you're just sending and one that you would bring into the room?
That's a good question, and that's actually, and I, you know, when we started talking about doing this, I'm actually working on a CBS show, and the pitch that we have a very large deck. We have the longer deck that has all the elements, and then we have what we just called the visual deck, which we reduced down to. We took it and, you know, kind of a larger deck and made a visual deck. But the development producer that I'm working with, she works with Canva. She's doing Canva stuff, and she like was able to like really do that really fast and still have a similar design. So typically there's the leave behind is the longer one, and then there's the shorter one that basically will pitch up. So I just kind of, yeah, it goes from like 15, 16 pages to trying to do like a 7-pager at, you know, hopefully at most. But yeah, that's typically, which again, that's where in the pitch process now, people expect more, which is stressful for creators to be like, okay, now you need me, and then their timelines can be unrealistic, where there's like, I need to get this to my boss in the next day or two, and you're like, I spent a month creating this deck, and now I have to like reduce it to, so something like Canva, with all the templates and stuff like that is very helpful, because typically people now want 2 decks. They want all the information deck, and then they want the short deck that they can pitch up. Yeah, you're welcome.
I think we'll do one more, and then we can move it outside. In the second row, the woman on the far right.
So I know you're on a subscription model for your products. In terms of all of these features that you showed, is that a certain level of subscription, or is it just a subscription and you get all these fun features?
That's a really great question. So in terms of the templates that we shared for entertainment templates, they're all available for everyone. And a lot of people who are on the basic entry subscription, it's fine for them to use a lot of the designing there. However, if you do want that more enhanced and you do want background remover, you want to be having access to a lot more within the content library, Pro is the best option to go with. And you would have had a Canva Pro code that would have been sent out. So hopefully you are able to upgrade and you can have a play around and see how different it is.
And if anyone in the room does not receive that, come find me afterwards and we'll get you set up. So I think I'll do one more question because I saw a couple extra hands. Was there one over here? No?
I was just wondering, can I upload my own photographs and videos?
Totally, yes, you can upload those. So I showed you earlier around the brand kit, so you can upload your own content into the brand kit, or you can just upload your own content specifically into your presentation deck. And at the same time, it's probably useful to share that you can take any existing projects that you have. So maybe you've got an existing pitch deck which you've not used Canva for. You can easily upload that into Canva, import that PDF or whatever it might be, and it will transform it into Canva so you can start working in Canva and use these features.
Well, thank you again to Michael, to Kate, to Tasha. If you have additional questions for any of them, specifically Kate and Tasha, come to Canva Creative Juices right outside all day from until 6 p.m. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Appreciate it.